So Maul is back, and we've got the first trailer for the Maul Shadow Lord series, and it gives us a glimpse as to what to expect from the future Star Wars releases. We've got a lot to talk about, and make sure you stay till the end as we'll discuss how George Lucas could be linked to the series, so hit that like button and let's get into it. Maul Shadow Lord will be a 10-episode series which drops on April the 6th with a 2-episode premiere and then 2 episodes released weekly up until May the 4th. The show is set on a planet called Janix, about a year after the Clone Wars and Order 66. Janix is described as a gritty cityscape that's one part Gotham and one part Metropolis. It feels like the kind of underworld vibe we would have gotten from 1313, the cancelled LucasArts game which was never released. Of course, Sam Witwer is back to voice Maul, and I'm honestly looking forward to his performance as he brings so much depth to the character like he did in the Clone Wars and Rebels. Witwer's version of Maul feels like it has layers including betrayal, survival, humiliation and obsession. You could even say Peter Serafinowicz made Maul iconic.
At last we will reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last we will have revenge.
And Witwer made him complete.
I have come to kill you, but perhaps it's worse to leave you here, festering in your squalor.
Has everything, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a promotion somehow within Lucasfilm if this series gets high ratings. Lucasfilm has evolved its animation again, which looks absolutely stunning for the series, and it's no surprise as the company's own notes around the show point to upgrades in facial performance and body movement. The team even captured actual paint on glass, shot it and then transferred them into scenes so the world has that tactile, you can feel the grime look instead of the usual smooth animation sheen. They also went old school with matte paintings on canvas for backgrounds, the same process as the original trilogy's illusion of scale approach, but now layered under animated characters. It's similar to how Ralph McQuarrie used painted canvases, bringing back the hand-painted feel that made classic Star Wars look like a lived-in world. The trailer also gives us our first look at young Padawan Devon Izara. She's described officially as a Twi'lek who's on the run from the Empire, and she's tied to the young Padawan angle the series is building around. In the trailer, we see her fight off Imperial forces.
Always running.
StarWars.com describes Devon as a young person who's living through challenging times and realizes that the future she once thought she was going to have is no longer possible, and so she has to adapt. Now, rumors have been circulating that this might be a young Darth Talon who became a Sith in Darth Crate's One Sith in 137 ABY, which occurred in the Star Wars Legacy comic book series. She had black Sith tattoos covering her body, with each tattoo having been earned in ritual combat and inscribed by Crate himself. If she turns out to be Talon, then this could be a big win for Star Wars going forward, as I'll explain later in this video. And a familiar face in the trailer is the return of Marrok. We've seen him in the Ahsoka series and a brief cameo in the Tales of the Empire. In Ahsoka, we saw green mist flow from him as he dies, implying he was created of Night Sister magic. And in the trailer, it does look like Maul kills Marrok, so he could have been brought back to life by the Night Sisters, which is the version we see in Ahsoka. Rumours were circulating that Marrok could be Starkiller from the Force Unleashed games, who Witwer acted and voiced, and he was also credited as an additional voice actor on Ahsoka, which fans automatically linked to Witwer being Marrok and Marrok being Starkiller. None of this has been confirmed, but can't totally be ruled out. Then we also got our first look at Maul's lightsaber. The weapon is a double-bladed saber that uses the surviving half of his original hilt, which he retained after he was chopped in half by Obi-Wan Kenobi in The Phantom Menace. It's been rebuilt, and the new section added to complete the weapon matches the same design seen on Asajj Ventress's lightsaber in the Dark Disciple artwork. And this exact reconstructed saber has actually shown up in animation before, in the Clone Wars Season 7 during the Siege of Mandalore arc. But a question that keeps coming up is, will Maul fight Darth Vader in this series? They've never met, and during the time of Maul Shadow Lord, Vader is leading the Empire's push to wipe out the remaining Jedi and track down anyone who slipped through. During the trailer, Marrok says the Emperor wants him dead. However, it's actually Vader that the Inquisitors report to. It would make sense for them to face each other, as it lines up perfectly with Vader being at peak purge mode while Maul is trying to rebuild power in the shadows. If it happens, it runs the risk of making Vader feel overused, as he's been in so many Star Wars projects even if they're just cameos, but seeing him fight Maul has the potential to be up there with the Kenobi Phantom Menace duel, so I'd love to see it. And speaking of duel, when Maul is fighting Marrok, we hear a quick rendition of a modified Duel of the Fates score.
Can be shattered.
It sounds incredible, and let's be real, you could put that score in any scene and it would hit. This is the darkest scene in the trailer, as you can see Maul's lightsaber cut straight through 3 stormtroopers, which makes me think this series is going to be darker than anything we've seen before in Star Wars animation, and Maul is the perfect character for Lucasfilm to explore this. So what's all this got to do with George? Well, in George Lucas's outlines in episode 7, yes, the wand Disney did not use, Maul is framed as a huge power figure after the Empire, basically the crime godfather who seizes control of the underworld when the Empire collapses and the galaxy is left with a power vacuum. And in that concept, Darth Talon is his apprentice, set up as the main on-the-ground threat, filling that new Vader role in terms of presence and danger. We've already seen Maul uniting criminal factions in the Clone Wars, and this series feels like he will continue this persistent grab for power. But if Devon does turn to the dark side and becomes Darth Talon, then it would be likely we will get more ideas from George's outlines for episode 7 in future Star Wars projects, and I believe that is only a good thing. We'll have to wait to see how all this plays out. However, George's influence will be front and center in this series. So what do you like best about this trailer, and do you think George had an influence on its storyline? Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one.